You are not a winning ticket waiting for someone to scratch you to be worth something. You are not an empty chair at anyone's table. You are not an option, nor the second course, nor the silence that fills their loneliness. You are the author of the story you tell when no one's watching, the owner of the key that opens and closes the door to your inner home. And today I want to say it without beating around the bush. Your worth does not depend on who chooses you. Nothing and no one can grant you what doesn't originate in you. No one's yes makes you enough. No one's no makes you less. Before we go on, I want to be clear about something. This episode isn't revenge against love, nor a manifesto to harden you. It's a bridge for you to cross from dependence to presence, from the anxiety of being chosen to the freedom of choosing yourself. Sometimes loving hurts, but hurting yourself hurts more. And if it hurts, it's not because you're weak, it's because your soul is asking for change. Before we continue, I'm really curious to know from where in the world and at what time you're joining today. I'd love to read you in the comments. I'm going to propose a pact. For these 30 minutes, every time a voice pops up in your head saying, yes, but, you're going to ask it to sit down for a moment and listen. Not because I have the truth, but because maybe today you'll hear yours with a clarity that surprises you. We're not going to deny what you've lived. We're going to organize it. We're going to look straight at the intimate mechanism by which so many women measure their worth with someone else's thermometer. That look, that reply, that message, that invitation. The evidence that finally, someone chose me. And just as easily, the collapse when they choose something else, another plan, another person. The evidence that I'm no longer worth it. Think of the first time you felt chosen. You were probably a girl. The teacher picked you to carry the flag. You were chosen first in the game. Your mother bragged about you in front of the family. Your eyes lit up. You made a powerful association. Being chosen equals existing. It's not your fault. Girls learn early to read applause as a compass. And then we grow up with that equation tattooed on our chests. If they choose me, I stay. If not, I get lost. One day you fall in love, and the compass turns into a storm. You stare at your phone as if it were an oracle. You cling to an I miss you like someone gripping a beam in a fire. If it arrives, you breathe. If it doesn't, you unravel. What's missing there isn't love, it's center. Let me tell you about Lucia. Lucia knew how to make everyone laugh but herself. She had a talent for understanding what others needed and turned her skin into a refuge. When someone chose her, she bloomed. When they left her on red, she withered at record speed. I asked what she heard. Inside, when she wasn't chosen. She said, that I'm not enough. Sound familiar? It's the most sophisticated and cheapest lie ever sold to us. Enoughness isn't a reward, it's an origin. You are born enough. Then they fill you with conditions. If you behave, if you're not intense, if you're easygoing, if you laugh softly, if you don't ask for too much, if you study this, if you don't change your body, if you change your body. A catalog of saws and deserts that has nothing to do with your worth. Sometimes life feels like a silent auction. You raise your paddle, offering time, offering patience, offering apologies, offering crumbs of yourself until you're left without bread. And what's the price of winning that auction? Living in someone else's house with your furniture piled up in the hallway. What happens if you don't bid? No one wins you. You recover the currency of the soul you were about to lose, trying to convince someone you're the right object for their living room. You're not an object. You are a life. The world trains us to become shop windows. We learn to pose with the right label. The diligent student, the friend who never fails, the girlfriend who understands everything, the employee who solves without asking for a break, the daughter who always shows up, gleaming displays with spotless glass. Inside, the shelves are a mess. The question is brutal and beautiful. Do you want to keep being a window, or would you rather be the house? The window is held up by someone else's gaze. The house stands on its own and decides whom to open to. I'd like you to remember the last time someone didn't choose you. The exact scene. The minute the message didn't arrive, the promise wasn't kept, the invitation never existed, the gaze slid right past you. Notice how you spoke to yourself afterward. Did you tell yourself you weren't worth it? Did you tell yourself you had to do more? Did you secretly hate yourself for the times you were honest, for the times you asked? Did you compare yourself? Comparison is pain's favorite carousel. It spins so fast, you have no time to get off. You get dizzy. You deny. You get back on. And the world offers you plastic ponies with perfect filters, social media, cropped love stories, edited life. You forget that no one uploads the smell of a room when two silences no longer love each other. No one uploads the knot in your stomach that visits when you know that call isn't going to come back. There's a lesson that changes your voice. There is no rejection with the authority to erase your worth. None. A no from your boss doesn't erase your abilities. A no from your father doesn't erase your dignity. A no from your partner, not partner, doesn't erase your tenderness, your humor, your intelligence, your way of making a home in 5 minutes with 2 mugs and a light switched on. What it does, erase if we allow, it is the false story we built. If they choose me, this is worth it. Your life cannot depend on a finger that presses on you like a seal of approval. You are not a seal. You are a signature. Let me offer you an image. Imagine a night market where mirrors are sold. Each mirror reflects what the one who stands before it brings. If you approach hungry to be returned, beautiful. Every dusty mirror will feel like a sentence. If you approach with a gentle certainty, every mirror will feel like information. I'll choose this one. Not that one. Thank you, I'm not interested in that frame. And you keep walking. What's the difference? It's not the mirror. It's you. And I'm not talking about a hollow mantra. I'm talking about quiet, intimate, persistent work. Building a livable self-image when there's no applause. What does that sound like in practice? It sounds like the way you speak to yourself when you mess up. It sounds like the hours when you choose to sleep instead of explaining the same thing for the umpteenth time to someone who doesn't listen. It sounds like shutting the laptop when you're no longer effective and holding a no in your voice without raising it. It sounds like cooking yourself something delicious on a Thursday just because. It sounds like stopping the chase for proof that someone loves you and starting to produce proof that you take care of you. It sounds like asking for help without shame. It sounds like saying, I'm leaving, before you become a beggar in your own home. People sometimes ask me, how can I feel my worth if no one chooses me? And I usually answer, take a step and do something precious that requires no witnesses. Plant yourself a garden on the windowsill. Learn a song on the piano and play it for your shadow. Write a letter you won't send. Call your grandmother and really listen without checking the time. Tuck a bill into a book for your future self. Go to the market, buy flowers, and put them where you'll see them when you wake. Private worth is the foundation on which public worth stops wobbling. If you only exist when you're seen, your whole life becomes an exhausted stage. If you exist when no one sees you, the stage becomes a game, not a war. Let's talk about work, that place where being chosen seems to have very tangible consequences. Promotions, projects, invitations, doors that open, and yes, it matters. But there's a thin line between celebrating that your work is recognized and hitching your value to that recognition. If they applaud you, you work well. If they correct you, you work badly. If they don't name you, you don't exist. If they put you on the cover, now you do. That roller coaster is as draining as an ambiguous relationship. It's cured with sobriety. Your professional worth is built with habits, not with flattery. You are as solid as your capacity to learn, to rest so you can think better, to create instead of react, to say, I won't make it in time to be able to arrive well. Being chosen for a project is beautiful. Remaining yourself when you aren't chosen, that's freedom. Now I want to step into delicate territory. Family. That's where our first scripts are written. The favorite, the difficult one, the caregiver, the one who never causes trouble. And sometimes the stamp put on us as girls becomes the cage we live in as adults. If you grew up with the sense that you were worth something when you solved things, you'll spend your life speaking in the firefighter's voice. If you grew up with the sense that you were worth something when you were quiet, you'll spend your life turning down your music. If you grew up with the sense that you were worth something when you were chosen for being pretty, you'll chase mirrors that reflect nothing but an instant. The good news: you can rewrite the role. You won't change other people's memory, but you can change your own. You can sit your little girl on your lap and tell her, "You don't need to beat anyone, your name is enough here." And love? That space where "they choose me, they don't choose me" feels like a sentence. Here I ask you to jot this down somewhere. To love is not an adjudication, it's a practice. Two people who choose each other today to build a space where living truthfully is possible. They do not choose each other to heal the original wound. They do not choose each other to fix a lifetime of abandonment. They choose each other to be companions on the path. Sometimes we get lost because we ask a partner to do the work only a mother who's gone could do, a father who didn't know how, a child who still trembles. They won't do it. And when they don't, it's not that you're not worth it. It's that it wasn't their job. If you find yourself in a relationship where your value rises and falls with the tide of their attention, I want to propose an Amited Five-Rizan. Extreme and compassionate exercise. Observe for a week without talking about us. Talk about you. Make your day a kinder place. Sleep better. Eat at regular times. Expose your skin to the sun. Meet the friend who reminds you who you were before all the noise. Make your list of things I postponed while waiting for their reply. Cross them off one by one. Watch how the balance shifts. You'll see something. Your energy stops being beggary and becomes a current. Not because the other person changes, but because you recentered. And from there, decide. Don't decide hungry. Decide after you've eaten. Emotional hunger turns deserts into absolutes. Satiety makes exits clear. I want to introduce an idea that scares and frees. No one is going to choose you better than you choose yourself. And choosing yourself doesn't mean closing yourself off to love. It means opening the door from the inside. It's not arming yourself with shields. It's shedding disguises. It's not looking down on everyone. It's knowing you don't have to look down to have worth. The love that arrives once you've chosen yourself doesn't come to save you. It comes to accompany you. And if one day it leaves, it hurts, but it doesn't dismantle you. You are a home even in your winter. Culture will tell you you're more if many choose you. More desirable, more valid, more successful. And then it will sell you the flip side, that you're less if no one chooses you for a while. Culture loves extremes because they sell fast. You are not for sale. Your life isn't stock. You are a work in progress. And a work in progress has scaffolding, pauses, changes of perspective, pencil corrections. Would you allow any random spectator to climb on stage, grab your brush, and decide for you? That's what you do every time you grant a bond the power to calibrate your worth. I'm not saying stop listening. I'm saying listen without handing over the brush. Sometimes people ask me, how do I make it stop mattering whether they choose me? And I answer, don't look for anesthesia, look for proportion. Let it matter, but don't let it define you. Let it make you sad, but don't let it sweep you away. Let it make you happy, but don't let it make you forget who you were before the applause. Proportion is the adult art of measuring without overextending yourself. You find it in the body. You feel yourself speeding up and you breathe. You feel like writing that text at dawn and you wait till tomorrow. You feel the urge to make yourself small to fit, and for the first time, you stay your size. It isn't heroism, it's loving discipline. I want to tell another story. Rebecca's. Rebecca spent years waiting for someone to choose her again with the same force as at the beginning. She had been chosen with fanfare, flowers, promises, movie weekends. Then, silence, excuses, absence. Rebecca held on to luminous memories as if they were marks of faith. Until, one day she asked herself, what if the only task the other person ever had was to show me I can choose myself again? Not because he did it on purpose, but because life used that experience as a mirror. Rebecca didn't turn cynical. She became sober. She began to distinguish between spark and fire. She thanked the spark. She lit her fire. And from there, she chose differently. I don't want you to leave this episode believing that taking care of yourself means never opening the door. On the contrary, taking care of yourself is opening it with criteria. It's having a table set with real food, not decor. It's being able to say, "Welcome without fear, they'll ravage your kitchen." It's being able to say, "This isn't your home," without turning into a cop over your own emotions. Criteria is trained. How? By doing small, hard things when no one's watching. Did you promise yourself to sleep earlier? Keep it. Did you promise not to answer that message that reopens wounds? Keep it. Did you promise to go for a 20-minute walk without your phone? Keep it. Trust in yourself isn't manufactured with slogans. It's deposited into your inner bank with each coherent action. When there's a balance, "they didn't choose me" hurts, but it doesn't leave you overdrawn. Let's talk about the word enough. It's become a pretty and sometimes empty slogan. "I am enough," we say, and inside a tremor whispers, "Really? I want you to translate it." Enough doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean beyond question. It doesn't mean I never make mistakes. Enough means I can sustain my life. I can hold my no's and my yeses. I can hold my good days without getting conceited, and my bad days without becoming cruel. I can hold a difficult conversation. I can hold necessary silence. I can hold my vulnerability without exhibiting it like a reality show, and my strength without using it as a whip. That enoughness is humble and enormous. It makes no noise, but you feel it when you walk into a place. Your presence doesn't apologize for existing. Maybe now you're thinking of that particular person who functions as the barometer of your esteem. If they look at you, the sun comes out. If not, winter. I want you to try a minimal radical gesture. Change the axis of the weather. Today, whether or not that person chooses you, you're going to do something that improves the weather inside. It can be as small as tidying your desk, replying to that email that weighs on you, washing your hair, opening the window, watering a plant, taking from the drawer that letter that makes you cry, calling yourself by your name with affection. The sum of honest gestures creates seasons. Your internal summer doesn't depend on their calendar. There's something else. Sometimes you aren't chosen because the other person can't, doesn't know how, doesn't want to. Sometimes you aren't chosen because you no longer fit an old script. And that's a quiet triumph. You've grown. You've shed a skin. You've stopped investing in lost causes. You've discovered that you don't want an adrenaline that leaves you devastated. You want a peace that leaves you creative. When that happens, if they don't choose you, you say, "Thank you for the filter." The filter that protects what you're trying to build. A life where tenderness and lucidity hold hands. I'd like to give you words for when the night feels longer. Words that don't sound like a slogan, but like a blanket. It's okay if you cry today. Water cleans the eyes. It's okay if today feels heavy. Weight is information too. It's okay if you knocked on the wrong door. Every closed door returns you to your own. It's okay if they didn't choose you today. Tomorrow you're still here. And it does matter positively if you choose yourself today. If you decide that the next coffee you'll have with yourself, that the next Sunday won't be waiting but a walk, that the next "I'll think about it" is yours and not an extension for someone who doesn't know. I don't want to leave without talking about the fear of loneliness. It's legitimate. It sits at the base of many choices. But loneliness is not a sentence, it's a room. It may be dark and scary in the first minutes. Then your eyes adjust, you turn on a small lamp, you see a book you had forgotten, you find the box where you kept your letters, you try on new music. Unanesthetized solitude is an accelerated course in you. It doesn't make you hard, it makes you honest. And from there, the love that arrives doesn't sit in the only chair. It sits in one of the several your home now has. I propose a simple ritual for the next 7 days. Don't turn it into a religion, use it as a compass. Every morning before you look at your phone, ask yourself in a low voice, What gesture of respect do I give myself today? Write it down, keep it. Every night, before sleeping, ask yourself, where did I choose myself today, even if no one saw? Write it down, read it out loud. Something shifts inside when you hear yourself. Writing it teaches your brain that you exist, even if you're not trending. Hearing yourself teaches your soul that you, too, are a listener. Now, a loving warning. When you start choosing yourself, some will be uncomfortable. They'll mistake your clarity for ego. They'll ask for the version of you that was easier for them. They'll offer you guilt wrapped in love's paper. They'll tell you that if you don't yield, you'll lose. And you will lose things, yes. The habit of abandoning yourself, places you no longer fit, silences that were making you sick. You'll gain others. Calm, a feeling of floor beneath your feet, the luxury of sitting at your life's table without feeling like you're there on sufferance. If you've made it this far, I want us to do a small symbolic closing. Close your eyes if you can. Name in a low voice someone whose yes kept you tied up for too long. Thank them for what they showed you, even if it came through pain. Give them back their part. Keep yours. What you learned about your way of loving, what in you still needs care, what you're no longer willing to negotiate. Breathe. Let it out through your mouth. And now, with the air that comes in, say your name. Say, I choose myself. The first times it will sound strange. It's okay. You're building muscle. To end, let me gift you an image that has accompanied me for years. Imagine your life is a book with worn covers, underlined pages, coffee stains, and bent corners. It's not a museum piece. It's your travel journal. Whoever comes into your life doesn't come to correct your grammar or tear out chapters. They come if it's their place to sit beside you and read with you in a low voice, sometimes to write a paragraph where both hands hold the pen. If they leave, you close the book carefully, mark the page with a red ribbon, and move on. You don't carry half the book under your arm trying to complete the rest with someone else's ink. Your worth isn't in who sits down to read. Your worth is in your writing, in your willingness to continue, in your capacity to hold yourself when there's no audience, in the love with which you return, again and again, to the blank page. Thank you for listening. If these words kept you company, share them with that friend who still measures her life with borrowed clocks. Remind her of this. You're not a trophy, you're a territory. And a territory is cared for from within, so that what's outside makes sense. May today, even if they don't choose you, you choose to turn on the light in your home. That's where everything begins. That's where you always began, even if you forgot. And there, in that light, I promise, the world looks different. And above all, you see yourself. And that is enough.